you listen to him, you'll understand.
Hi everyone. My name is Hsuanwei Fan, or Chinese, Fan Hsuanwei. And I'm also a proud alum of John Bookmarked High School. 2008. I moved to this country when I was 10 years old. And aside from having to learn English, it was pretty tough to fit in. Especially when your friends talked about books that they've read, like Harriet the Spy or Goosebumps, and you have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. And I think that might have been my first impetus to get into reading. We get those like really flimsy, printed on kind of crappy paper booklets from Scholastic that you take home. And you always felt so cool when your parents allowed you to buy a ton of books. And when, on the day they arrive, you walk around with it, arms full of books. You're like, I'm cooler than you because my parents allowed me to buy books. Only if we still felt the same today in college. So I started reading because I wanted to fit in and have something to talk about with my friends at school. And that was when I realized, despite coming from a completely different background and different country and different culture, how much I could connect to characters, like Matilda, or or the heroine and the protagonist of the Little Home on the Prairie series. Whatever, to each of their own. And that was, I guess, my first impression of how important literature and books were to me. And I think my parents have always been very, very encouraging in getting me and my brother to read. We always only got books ever for a birthday or Christmas or whatever. And we never really had TV at home. And I never thought this was abnormal. And we just had tons of books and read them all the time. I think it got to a point where they were really disturbed by how much we loved to read. When we would go on road trips to the Grand Canyon and we would all have books. And she was like, what's the point of traveling if you're just going to be reading a book? And sometimes I thought to myself, Mom, I don't think you realize, but when I read this book, I'm traveling to not only a different place, but sometimes a different time, or sometimes a completely different universe. And traveling is traveling, and whether you travel in here, or you have the means to travel to Europe, it's seeing a different place from a different person's perspective, and all of that is so refreshing. And the first time you read something is always different from the second time, or the third time, or the fourth time you read something. So there's such a good case to be made for books to still survive. A lot of people think that books are outdated, that we have videos now, we have audiobooks, we don't need the printed page. And of course we have electronic readers, Kindle and stuff like that, but there's just something so different about making the first creases on the back of a paperback, and marking the pages you really like, or just getting it dirty, spill coffee, or Chinese food on it, whatever. And as I said, actually on a blog post I made on this Camacho's really, really awesome blog related to this book. Actually, I encourage everyone to go check it out. I think, in one of her posts about the Hunger Games series, which has been blowing up the box office in the movie theater, it really made me think, what place does literature serve in our society today? How is it relevant? And I think, no matter what, to quote myself from my podcast, I think writers are the conscience of our world. Whether they are journalists who are on the front lines in Afghanistan, or teachers who write an encouraging email to a student, or students who write something not only to get a good grade on an assignment, but really think and reflect on a topic, or even parents writing little notes to their kids on their refrigerator door before they leave for work. I think writers really allow us to capture a moment in time and how we felt, how we think. And reading the great works by a lot of authors throughout high school has really been a blessing. A lot of people thought it was a chore, and I did at points, but now I look back on it and I think, wow, what kind of amazing struggles people have been through to get to where we are. What kind of prophetic visions a lot of authors had, to warn us about a society that we are slowly slipping into, where we're losing some of the values that are most important to humanity and to our core. And I really hope that everyone will continue reading, so we can always remind ourselves of what we want to avoid and what we should be and stay true to. So finally, I want to thank Ms. Camacho for putting this together. Because despite how a lot of the essays I've talked to in this book have kind of humbly and modestly, and I have also done this as well. We say, oh, my essay sucks, like, oh, she's in the book. But I really thank her for the opportunity to celebrate the works of common people like us. And instead of just putting Emerson and Thoreau on the pedestal that they are on, she's celebrating all of us as writers and as people who have important perspectives and ideas and histories and stories to be captured. So I can't wait, 50 years from now when I'm rocking away in my rocking chair and my grandson or granddaughter maybe might ask, how was life back then? What kind of things did you and your friends struggle with in high school growing up? And I can just hand them this book and say, read it. It's a snapshot from 2008 to 2010. So thank you for making the mark, not only in our books, but also in our history.
See, that's why I never learned his first name. After listening to him for a few minutes, you just forget and you just want to keep hearing what he has to say. I'm going to read Fan's bio. Fan is a Taiwanese immigrant who began learning English and the value of open-minded thinking at the age of 10. He attends Pomona College in Claremont, where he's going to graduate in just a month. Fan is a lover of food, an art fanatic, an ardent environmentalist, an unrelenting utopian, an insatiable socialite, an aspiring Renaissance man, and a self-proclaimed idealist. He believes more than anything in the power of humanity to overcome obstacles.